So pretty much every professional Twitch broadcaster has a Streamdeck, and pretty much everyone on YouTube that recommends a Streamdeck says it's amazingly powerful, you should absolutely get one, best thing you'll ever have for a stream. But then they go on to tell you that it can start and stop your streams and transition your scenes. But it's a lot more powerful than that, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is my Streamdeck. I basically have my start and stop streaming, clips. I'm just gonna go over the main page really quickly, and then we're gonna dive into some of this stuff. I got my monitor here, audio monitor for my submix, for my VoiceMeter. We got OBS here, so I can change the volume in OBS without having to mess with sliders. I got my mute mic toggle here. I like to keep it here just so that I have a visual representation of whether my mic is live or muted. And then I've got my HDMI controls in here and some other stuff. I got my music controls and my Discord mute and deafen commands. Play pause music on here, as well as my chat commands in here. I got games, so I can quickly switch from game to game. You know, if I decide to change it up, if I'm streaming something and then somebody hits me up on Discord and says, hey, you want to play Siege? I got a button for that and I can quickly change. Or at the end of the stream when I'm kind of wrapping up, but it feels like I might go a little bit long, or I have been going a little bit long, I change the category just so that people don't come into my stream expecting me to be playing Dead Space 3 or something like that, and then find out that I'm just talking and ending the stream. I got this is just a scene, so just chatting scene. This is my camera left and right. So depending on the game, I might want my camera on the left side or the right side. So this will do a stinger transition and transition to the scene, depending on which one I push. This is my be right back button. So there's it's a multi-action button, multi-action hotkeys, multi-action switch, I should say. So basically, this will skip the song to the next song, so it'll start on a new track when I go to my be right back scene. Slight delay because sometimes when you push buttons too close to each other, they don't react well, so I found that I had to put an 800 millisecond delay. This changes the scene to my be right back scene, and this mutes my microphone. And then we got my media play, so it skipped to the next song, now we play that song. And then I have an ad break, so 30-second ad break while I go do other stuff. I found that usually when I take a break to go to the bathroom or get a drink or whatever, it usually takes about a minute, but just to be kind to my viewers and let them get to listen to some music and stuff while they're waiting, they get a 30-second ad break. Oh, and then the toggle on that is basically just turns my mic back on here and transitions the scene. So it goes to the scene first, and while it's transitioning, it goes ahead and unmutes my mic. You don't really need a delay here because by the time it finishes, basically anything done in OBS can be done pretty much at the same time. So then here I just have my ending scene, so that I basically just have it go to essentially my stream offline banner, but I have it animated with some stuff just so that they know it's ending. It just gives a little bit of a buffer between saying goodbye and actually ending my stream, so that anybody with a poor internet connection or pretty bad latency or anything like that, they can still catch the end of the stream without any kind of without it just cutting off, because I found that sometimes people will just kind of be like, all right, goodbye, and then the stream cuts off, and it's like, well, there was like a 5-second delay and they didn't allow a buffer for that. So I like to allow a little bit of a buffer. All right, so let's get into it. So VoiceMeter, this is gonna be the first thing. Didn't plan on it being the first thing, but it's probably gonna be, if you understand anything about VoiceMeter, this should be the easiest to explain really quickly, because a lot of people may not know that you can actually control VoiceMeter from your Streamdeck. They know about VoiceMeter for submixing and, or maybe not even submixing. Some people use this as their main mix for OBS, which I don't recommend, because then you can't submix it. Anyways, so this first track for me, it's a virtual cable. Well, it should be a virtual cable. I don't know why it's saying that, but weird. Everything's all Well, you can see right here it says virtual cable, sound capture, VIO is desktop, and aux is Discord. So that's just how I have it set up. You can set it up however you like. Basically the way to do that would be essentially, you want to make sure that you install the virtual cable plugin, and then just come over to here, right click on your little speaker icon there, go to your sound settings, and then over here you can basically control each device. Let's see, right in here under advanced sound options, you click this, and then each application that you're using, you send it either to desktop, or like for the case of Discord, I have this set to my aux VIO, and most of my desktop sounds I have going to desktop here. I do have my game sounds. Any game that I launch, I have to specify this, but I have all my game sounds going to my game input here. So these are going to be all of your strips. Actually, I think it's all of these. I think you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips. And then these are your buses. So when you want to change your audio, that's Discord. When you want to change your audio, I should probably close Discord so I don't get any notifications. So when you want to change your audio using your Streamdeck, you basically want to install this plugin. You go to more actions, and then you type VoiceMeter in the search bar. You can type voice or VoiceMeter. It'll show up if you type voice, or I don't know how much or how little of that you have to type before it shows up. But this, you want bar rater VoiceMeter integration. And then I'll go to a new, make a new folder for my my tests. Let's see, create folder, test. So on this side panel, by the way, if you don't already know, so I might have a lot less stuff than you do, and if you don't already know, you can click this little hamburger, and you can deselect any category you don't use. Like if you don't use, if you don't use like Streamlabs OBS, you can uncheck this entire category and none of that will show up on there. If you don't use Twitch, you're on Mixer or something like that, you can just disable anything you don't want to see. So I've already done that. So VoiceMeter bar rater, this is what you're looking for. So it has advanced toggle, which would basically just be, I actually haven't used this one. You can figure that out on your own. What I use, so it has advanced toggle. I think that's for like mute, unmute, and you can long press or something like that. Advanced PVT. So that's push to talk. Basically, you would hold it down, and it would unmute your microphone while you're holding it, and then mute it once you release. This would be press and long press. This is what I use. Modify set, I don't know. Anyways, press and long press. This is what you're looking for. Okay, so key press. So you want to, I'll leave this in the description, this code, but this is essentially what you're looking for. So if I wanted to turn the volume up or down on my music input here, which is strip 0. So it starts at 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if I want to turn the volume up on strip 0, hold on, let me copy this because it's just gonna make it easier for me. Then you would come in here, and your key press is going to be strip 0 dot gain plus, I don't think there's a space there. There is a space there, okay. Dot gain space plus equals 3, or there's another space here, equals space 3, 5, you know, whatever you want your gain to go up by. If you wanted to go up by 3 decibels every time you press it, then I'm just gonna press this button and you can see VoiceMeter going up like that. Or if you want it to go down, you can do minus there, and then when I press it, it goes down. Now what I've done with mine, so I have it go up by 3. So this plus indicates, or actually I think you can put a minus there. Let's see, if I put a minus here, yeah, okay. So you put the plus or minus here, depending on what you wanted to do. So plus 3, but this is a long press, right? I mean, this is, if you tap the key, it does that. And if I long press the key, it does nothing because it's currently not set to do anything. Let me go ahead and make another button here. So this is gonna be my minus. So now I have my plus and minus for that, oops, minus. For that source, I have a plus and minus. So if I wanna turn the music all the way down, or you know, pretty far down, say I want, you know, it's for some source or whatever. Maybe it's a game, you know, like some game is super loud, so you turn it way down. Then you play another game, and then that game is actually relatively quiet in your headphones. So you want to reset it quickly. You can make the long press. Let me see how I did this. I don't exactly remember. Okay, so on this one, if you don't put a plus or minus and you just put basically the decibel, it'll take it to that decibel. So come back over here. So I have it on my plus volume, but your long key press, you want to type strip brackets 0.gain equals 0. So this will be whatever you want it to be. So if I hold it down, it shoots back up to 0, so I can turn it way down, and then if I just hold it down, it goes up to 0. And I think you can control the delay. Yeah, so you can control how long you have to press the key for. So if I wanted to go really quickly, turn it down like that, and then boom, immediately. And then if I tap it, it goes up by 1. You can also set this, so say I want to kind of treat it like more of a fader, a little bit, I could say. So I would do the same thing. I would have it change the volume by -3 decibels. So it turns it down by 3 decibels every time I press it. But if I put that in the long key press as well and change the delay to 150 milliseconds, then I can just hold it down and it'll keep changing the volume. So I have to tap this one because the long key press is set to reset it. But if I hold this one down, go all the way down, then I can long key press and just reset it to 0. So that's something you could do. If you want to change the buses, again, these are strips, these big ones, these are buses. So if you want to change the buses, you would just do the same thing, but just type bus 0 gain equals 3, or minus equals 3, whatever you want to do if you want to change it up or down. And then this would be the same thing, bus 0.gain plus equals 3. Okay, so then if I come over here and press these buttons, that changes it up. Long key press, well, I didn't change the long key press. Long key press would be the same thing, bus, then you come back over here, long key press, immediately puts it back to 0. I didn't change the bottom one, but you get the point. I did change I changed the long key press, bus. Okay, so then do that, you know, same thing. So that's pretty cool. You can configure this however you want. There's a great video on VoiceMeter that I'm gonna link in the description, because I'm trying to go over mostly Streamdeck stuff, not other tools. But another thing you may not know, let's go ahead and minimize this. Another thing you may not know that you can do with your Streamdeck is you can control OBS sliders. And OBS, I mean, obviously these are just mutes, and that's kind of a, let's see, OBS, that's a source, you know, on or off. So you can just, actually no, it's a mixer audio. So if you do this, you know, you can just say, oh, I want my microphone to mute when I press that button. Not gonna do it. I'm recording my microphone separately, but you know, if I weren't, you know, you could mute it like that. So that's easy enough. That's kind of built into Streamdeck. But what you kind of, what I kind of did when I started messing with the Streamdeck is I added mixer audio. I went, oh great, I can control my you know, my OBS mixer with this. And it's like, oh no, not really. You can mute or unmute sources. But if you get this plugin, again, go to your More Actions button and OBS Tools by Barrater. This Barrater is like, I don't know, some coder on GitHub, pretty legit. So anyways, you want to install this. So you just click install down there. And what this does, you need, let me see. So source volume adjust is what I use. OBS, yeah. Okay, so source volume adjust. And then, okay, so this is where you want to go for anything that you need to do with your Barrater OBS tool. So there's something in here. It'll pop up when you first launch, when you first like add a button from this, but this is what you want to know. You must install OBS WebSocket before using this plugin. Install from here. So you'd click this link, and then OBS WebSocket 4.8, all that. I believe you just, I think you probably scroll all the way down. Yeah, down to here to assets. And then if you're running Windows, just do this Windows installer. If you're running Mac, do that. And then it'll walk you through it. But yeah, you just install this WebSocket plugin, and then you don't really have to do anything else after that. So once that's installed, it's really simple. You just take your source name. Like I have all my audio sources labeled with letters because that's the way that OBS reads it from top to bottom. So I want to see certain sources in a certain order as far as audio goes. So I have them all labeled like A mic, B music, C game, or no, B is game, C is music, whatever. Anyways, so I'll just pull OBS over here real quick so you can see. Bring that up, you don't need to see my face. So now I have, hold on, let me just go ahead and make two sources. Control C, Control V. So this is -5. So 5 is the smallest amount that you can adjust it by. But this is your volume up, this is your volume down. So then if I press this, you can see my music slider going up and down every single time I touch it. And you can see that up there. I don't really find this readout to be super helpful. But this tells you what % your music volume is at. You can disable that if you want by going to title, show title, or if you want to type your own title, I think you just type your own title and it gets rid of that. But if you just don't want a title, like what I have, hold on, I'll show you that in a second. So you would just click show title, just uncheck that. And then if you want to change this icon to what I have, I'll link this Streamdeck icon pack in the description. But it's basically just Aurora Streamdeck icon pack from Nerd or Die. But these, you just kind of scroll through it and find what you want. I like these, they're nice and clean. So volume down, volume up, you just put that, volume down, and then set icon from file, and volume up. And basically all I do, and then you just uncheck show title. I'm gonna get rid of these in a second, but I like to have my Stream Deck as clean and minimal as possible, and I think that having just the proper icons to tell you what's going on with your Stream Deck is just the most useful thing. And then the way that I have these arranged, I'll delete these, go ahead and delete these, but so these are my mutes at the top, but I've gone ahead and just typed what source it is, and then underneath is just whatever the toggle is for that source. So this is my game audio source, this is my music audio source, this is my Discord source, this is my desktop source. And I don't mess with my mic source. I don't want to accidentally turn my mic down or mute it or, you know, I don't want to mess with my mic. I've got it set the way I want it. I also have an actual mixer on my desk, so if I really do want to mess with it, then I can control it there. I'd rather do that with physical faders if I can. But yeah, so this is basically, with these two tools combined, you basically don't need a Go XLR. You just need a Stream Deck. And if you get the Stream Deck Mini, I know there's like 9 buttons on it, but or maybe only 6. There might be only 6 buttons on it, but it's like $50, and really there's 6 main buttons, but you can make folders and have more buttons. I'm actually running out of room on my Stream Deck, so I wouldn't recommend the Mini personally, unless you only have like a couple things that you really want to do. If you don't have that many scenes and you just have a couple of like audio things you want to do, you can basically just have a folder for your audio and then volume up, you know, 4 like volume inputs. Anyway, so that's how I have that configured. So that's VoiceMeter and OBS control. Oops, I almost closed OBS. That would have been bad. Oh, now I've really done it. Can't see the window. Anyways, that'll be fine. So then HDMI. So this is actually a very, very useful tool. If you haven't heard of a website called ifthisthenthat.com, it's IFTTT.com, if this then that. Basically what these are it's looks for a URL, and I have it access it in the background. And essentially what this does is it makes it so that I can switch seamlessly between HDMI inputs. So I have an HDMI switcher, and I have my Xbox and my PlayStation plugged in. And I also have a Logitech hub, Harmony hub. I want to say eHarmony. It's not eHarmony. That's a dating website. It's a Harmony hub, and that's just, you know, connected to my Wi-Fi network. And so what IFTTT does is it has apps and services and things that you can link your accounts to. So one that I have is like this one is essentially a it sees whenever I post a picture to Instagram, and instead of like having Instagram share it to Twitter where it's just kind of a link to the post and like half a description or something like that, it just uploads the entire picture and the caption to Twitter. So it's way less annoying for people when I try to share stuff from Instagram to Twitter. It's actually a separate post, which is actually even better. But you can hook up stuff like, I don't know if you guys know of a Lometric time clock, but basically it can show your Twitch stats and stuff like that. Smart Life is just like a light, you know, one of those smart lighting kind of things, and webhooks. So this is the one that you want, webhooks. So I have a couple of commands hooked up to this, and let me go ahead and make a new command. So you'd click on create, and so it's just going to show you this. This is why it's called if this and that. So if, and then you search services, webhooks. If you receive a web request, so you can choose the event name. So it would be like HDMI1, create trigger. Then And then this would be harmony. And you want to say either start or end an activity. You want to start an activity. So it's you got to log in to Harmony or whatever service you're using. You can add hue to it. So if you want to change hue bulb colors or something like that, you can do that with a press of a button. You can start your Roomba with it. And I'm actually, well, I put Harmony. So anyways, so HDMI 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 3, HDMI 4, or you can power off. So I don't know why you'd want to do that. Maybe you want to have, maybe you sit far away from your monitor and you want to be able to turn your TV on and off with your Streamdeck. I don't know. Maybe you're not a streamer. Maybe you just want some useful tools. So anyways, HDMI 1, create action. And I'm not really going to be able to show you this very well, if at all. But basically when I push that button now, well, I got to make the button. Okay, so create action. Okay, so now it tells me if maker event HDMI 1, then start HDMI 1 streaming activity. And I don't want to receive notifications every time this applet runs because I might push it a lot. I don't know. Finish. Okay, so how do you use this? So this is a webhook, right? So it tells you made this app. If you go to settings, it's kind of useless. Just kind of tells you what the thing is. You can change the event name, but well, go ahead and copy this event name. And I'm gonna go back and then settings. No, it's not settings, sorry, I just did that. So now what you wanna do, you wanna go basically back to your profile and you wanna go to My Applets. And then you go to, sorry, not My Applets, My Services. And you go to, where's Webhooks? Webhooks. Click on that. And then you click Documentation. And it tells you how to trigger the event. So basically you just insert your event in here. And then I wouldn't copy this because you're probably likely to copy this curl xpost thing, which is, that's a command line thing. That's if you're coding something, but you can just copy this and it'll work just fine. And then come in here and you want to make, this is built into Streamdeck, so it's not another separate app you have to install. But you want to make its system website. Make a button for website, put the URL, just paste what you just copied. And then if I were to press this right now, then it would pull up the web page and say, hey, you fired the thing, which is not ideal, when you're gaming. You don't necessarily want random browser tabs to open like in the middle of the thing. That would be annoying. Luckily, Streamdeck has this built in. So if you click this, access in background, now when you press this, it just does it. It does it, doesn't tell you it did it, doesn't open a browser page, nothing. It's just done. You did it. And the way to tell that you did it is obviously in this case, if you're watching your monitor, you would be able to tell that the HDMI switched to the correct source. So that's great. I'm gonna delete that. So this is the last thing. This is the kind of the grand finale thing. You can launch apps with a Streamdeck. So you could just do this if you wanted to, just launch, and then, if you wanted to open Photoshop, you'd basically just, let's see, edit address, Control V. I'm just gonna kind of follow this path. C drive, program files, Adobe, Photoshop, open. Oh. And then there we go, Photoshop.exe, open. Okay, there we go. Now it launches. Okay, so you might have to do that. It kind of depends. That might not have been a good thing to do. Anyways, and it automatically detects the program, puts the icon in there, which is pretty cool. Let me just close Photoshop. But another thing you can do is you can open a program with another program. So something that you might want to do is if you have a script that you want to run. say you want an auto clicker or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like a gaming application to this, but don't use this for cheats, but you could. So the way you do that, so I have this already set up to go because it was a little complicated to set up and I wanted to make sure that I had it figured out before I told you how to do it. So this is the main part of it. So I have this little Python script that I did as like just a test thing for this. But in order to, so I'll go ahead and show you real quick. Copy, paste. So if I were to just find this Python script that I want to run, and then if I press this button, it opens and closes immediately. And this is a problem that I had because I did have an application for this, for a programming thing. And I couldn't understand why it was opening and closing, but that's because, well, I don't know why exactly, but in order to open a script and run it and keep it running without it just opening and closing like that, you need to open it with another program. So in the case of Python, I like to open it with idle. You could open it with Atom or any programming, any coding program that you want to use, but I use idle. So what you want to do is basically figure out where that program is that you want to open it with. So I would type idle, open file location, and then when I right click on this and click properties, it gives you this. Now, what you might think is, oh, I just need this part, but there's more to it. So it actually opens idle with another program. So if you copy this, and then let's go ahead and do this again. And then Control A, Control V. So now you'll actually see there's two file paths here, and you want to remove the quotes. So it's using Python W, I assume that's Python. It's using Python to open idle. So boom. And now if I were to, so once you've removed the quotes, which are just around that one part for some reason, I don't know, they're not at the beginning. So if I were to press this now, it would open idle. But if you want to open a program, what do you call it? A script with this, then I'll go back to my desktop, go to the script that I want to run, properties. Now this doesn't give me a file path, but basically C user Irish desktop test.py. So, and I can also just copy it from, so you want to add a space. So this is Python, it adds a space, and then this is idle, and then you add a space, and then you go C /user /Irish, whatever your username is, /desktop /test.py. Now when I open this, I've probably typed it wrong. Let me just double check this file name. Okay, doesn't look like I typed it wrong. Control C. Just gonna double check here. And now this is a little complicated, so it can happen. Also, sometimes if there's a space before the file name, it doesn't work, and I'm gonna look for any quotes that might be there. Okay, so I'm pressing this again. Okay, now it opened. Okay, so this is the program. And then in order to run this program in idle, you would press F5, and then it just runs, and that's it. But if you want to do all that with a single action, then you would set up a multi-action. And so this opens the file. This is a delay because, again, if you press keys too quickly back to back, sometimes they don't like when you have two quick inputs. It seems like it's almost layered on top of each other. So add a delay. I have a 2-second delay here, which is 2000 milliseconds. And then I have my F5 hotkey right here, and that'll run the program. So now if I want to open the file and run it with one button press, boom, done. So those are some examples of some more powerful ways, more imaginative ways that you can use your Stream Deck. There's a lot of tutorials, a lot of videos about like setting up these, main scene switching keys and stuff, but I've done a lot of work in finding all this stuff. This is just my knowledge accumulated over the course of almost a year at this point. With the Stream Deck, I just kind of had some odd use cases, and I wanted to figure out what could be done. What is the coolest, most complex things you can do with a Stream Deck, and it just kind of simplifies life in general. You just, anything you can do with a single button press is pretty awesome, I'll say. So anyways, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully I can cut this down because it's been like a 43-minute video, but yeah, thanks for watching. I do stream every Tuesday through Thursday on Twitch. I also stream on Saturdays. So if you want to check that out and you want to know anything more about Stream Decks or anything, head on over. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, it's Mark.
Okay, Mark is dead. Okay. So it's actually Tyler, I think.
No, Mark's right there! Mark's right there behind you! I was so confused!
Oh, that worked so well!
I was so confused!